And welcome to Rauta's non-metal reviews. This time it's quite different from the usual thing. That is, mostly non-metal reviews here have been sometimes more or less related to rock music or then just synthwave and stuff like that. This is related to synthwave, but nothing to do with metal, nothing to do with rock as such, or maybe just a little bit. Sounds confusing. Yeah, me too. This one is Maxthor from Spain, and this is actually 2018 reissue of their 2016 album called Another World, released by Electronic Purification Records. This one, once again, looks brilliant. It's a gatefold vinyl with beautiful design. Once again, you will see these fantastic logo and cover art, which is very beautiful. I think the colors on the video won't just fully do justice to this fine looking packaging. And this time the vinyl is black. That is not your atypical color vinyl or splatter, swirl, whatever the thing here is with electronic purification. All in all, very, very beautiful design by the label for the band, and this is indeed a combination of synthwave and pop music, and one could even say a little bit like rock as well. Now the basic thing here is there's lots of synthesizer, there are lots of pop tunes, beats and stuff like that going on. So this is technically speaking related what is called usually synthwave, outrun, stuff like that. And people who are very cool with that and like synthesizer music being kind of uplifting and, you know, kind of a good mood music might find this enjoyable. But what really separates Maxthor from the very many bands in the same genre, especially released by Electronic Purification Records, is the very fact that Maxthor here actually features a lot of vocals. So technically speaking, this is almost like disco music, you know, the 1980s style. Compared to what was going on with the so-called more like instrumental thing with the given genre. That is, this is almost like some kind of, I don't know if it's Italo disco or whatever, but there are also parts which kind of remind me of Phil Collins stuff. So it's kind of a weird combination of having synthwave parts and, you know, those kind of beats, which then again are mostly pop music. But one could even say this is, you know, deciding whether or not, you know, jump the fence over to the rock side, where I guess Phil Collins and Genesis and stuff like that are, rather than your typical pop music. Actually, there's this one track that totally reminds me of one of biggest hit songs by Phil Collins and stuff like that. So it's definitely challenging these borders, if you will. Now, given that this is kind of an unfamiliar genre for me, it's really, really hard for me to give this proper evaluation or review. I mean, I'm a metalhead who just happens to like ambient and synthwave and stuff like that. But when you go so much more on the disco music side, it's kind of makes my brain in a twist or something, and rather makes me question why the hell I am featuring this one. Now the reason is that I got a batch of these LPs many months ago, and I wanted to feature some of them every now and then here on metal non-metal reviews, among the metal reviews that is. But I really can't say for which kind of audience this is. I mean, if you're a big electronic purification fan and just want to have their vinyl, you know, the whole collection and all, and you like beautiful designs and you like those synthesizer music, yeah, maybe this is your cup of tea. That is, if you don't mind the vocals. Now, there is, technically speaking, there's nothing wrong with the vocals. They are just nicely done, and there's a kind of a same kind of feeling done with Phil Collins, but maybe not as soft as those. And production-wise, this sounds very, very neat. I mean, this is sounding kind of a pure and sounding kind of like it takes me back to the era of all that stuff. But at the same time, I feel like this is too much the kind of a music I tried to avoid in the 80s and 90s, because I was never one of those guys who just went to the disco or nightclub and, you know, I want to get those beats and dance with the girls. No, I was having my long hair and I wanted to listen metal And even if it was the lightest version of metal, it would have been kind of a hard rock or stuff like that. So can't really say I was enjoying this too much. Now, if this was instrumental, maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But then again, this still sounds more like disco rather than, say, synthwave, retrowave, outrun, and stuff like that. This is not, one of those with kind of darker tunes, but more of an uplifting pop music combining those elements together. So if you are ready to challenge your own tastes, or you have a sweet soft spot for, pop music from the 80s or early 90s, maybe this is your cup of tea. I prefer my things in that segment a little bit darker, say Depeche Mode, bands like Ladytron. So for me, this is a little bit off. Technically speaking, very, very nice work, but in terms of whether I like it or not, I can't say I enjoyed it too much. Not bad, but just not my cup of tea. With these words being said, give it a fair chance. You will find the link provided in the description box, and then you can decide for yourself. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon with more reviews coming your way.